Good morning and welcome to Saturday special of Dr. Lamba's Awakening Call. Oppressed, inferior, exploited, unequal, segregate. For many people, these are the first words that come to mind when thinking about women in Islam. The stereotypes confuse Islam with cultural practices and fail to recognize the fact that what appears to be is the handiwork of those people who have nothing to do with Islam as a religion, but they are self-anointed guardians in any religion. The uneducated elite, if it's there, manages to overpower the sane issues, and that is what's happened in Islam. In fact, if we look at Islam and its beginning, it has empowered women with the most impressive rights since the 17th century. In Islam, women are not inferior or unequal to men, though the way they are being exploited, men can marry 4 times and triple talaq, three talaq, talaq, talaq. That is, in fact, a manipulation by the patriarchal society, as it happens everywhere. And when Islam was established, the female children were buried alive in Arabia. Are you aware of that? And women were considered inefficient and they were deemed as a property. Islam honored women in society and elevated them, protected them, and gave them unprecedented rights. As a matter of fact, Islam gave women the right to education. Islam gave them the right to marry according to their own choice, to retain their identity after marriage, to divorce, to work, to own self-property, seek protection of law, and to participate in civic and political engagement. 610 year AD, God began to reveal the message as per Islam. And then it was a reformation of the pagan Arab society. Now let's see what Quran says about Islam. As I said, according to Islam, men and women are equal, both spiritually and morally. In Quran, Ayat 3, 1.5, it says they never fail to reward any worker among you for any work you do. Be you male or female, you are equal to another. And then this is not the only ayat which says they are equal. Ayat 33 to 35, by submitting men, the submitting women, the believing men, the believing women, the obedient man, the obedient women, the truthful man, the truthful women, the steadfast man, the steadfast women, the reverent man, the reverent women, the charitable man, the charitable women, the fasting man, the fasting women, the chaste man, the chaste women. They are the people who commemorate God frequently, and commemorating women, God has prepared them for forgiveness and greater recompense. So, it's very clear that according to Quran, they are equal. And then, it's very clear that they are expected to perform all the religious duties of prayer, fasting, pilgrimage, paying alms, and encouraging good. However, there is a marked differentiation when it comes to social roles. They are equal in every aspect except social roles. It assigns a financial responsibility to men to maintain the family. But it does not preclude women from becoming the breadwinners or contributing, but there is no theological expectation for this under Islamic law, because this is a duty only of the male family members. Even today, globally, most world societies are patriarchal and men remain in control. So Quran took reality and converted it into a male duty. But female are allowed to do it with the proviso that they must be a allowed to keep control on the what they earn, and then women have to be paid. And then Quran laid down detailed laws on marriage and divorce. They were never there in any religion. Women must be paid a dowry at the time of contracting marriage. That is because, but then that does not remove the right of inheritance. They take the dowry as their share of the, it's a working capital, but the assets remain the same. An entire chapter of Quran is dedicated to women. And women are addressed repeatedly throughout Quran because they have to be pure. Now question is, are there women in Quran? Yes. As a matter of fact, women are referred more to Eve as Adam's mate. And then here's the difference. According to Quran, as opposed to Bible, Eve is not evil for tempting Adam. In fact, according to Islam, Adam and Eve did not fall from God. They, as I was saying, in Islam, Adam and Eve did not indulge in original sin. They did not fall from grace of God, and they were not sent to the earth as a punishment. They came to the earth as a part of grand divine plan. Then other references apart from Adam and Eve, Moses' mom, she receives the divine inspiration to put the babe Moses in a basket in the river and is led by God to become the wet nurse once he has been adopted by Pharaoh. The wife of Pharaoh, the greatest tyrant of his time, indeed, one of the most revered women in Quran. And she is killed by Pharaoh, but her faith remains unmoved. Queen of Sheba encounters King Solomon, but while she gets respect from her ministers, she submits to God when shown his glory through Solomon. So women have been presented as ideals. And then, for example, on Ayat 14:13, it's mentioned, the most noble of you women in the sight of God is righteous of you. To whoever male or female does good deeds and is faith, we shall give a good life and reward them according to best of their actions. Ayat 16:97. So it's clearly established that they are equal, but not identical. Now that's a question. They are equal but not identical. God created men and women with unique physiological and psychological attributes. And these differences are embraced as a vital component of a healthy family. But the rules apply to the same. Now, according to the hijab, coming to that, God commanded women to cover certain parts of their body, including their hair. Purpose? To protect their modesty. But even men have been asked to cover parts of their body out of modesty. Not the same way as women, but essentially the same. So, God has asked both of them to be modest. That's another thing, being patriarchal society, male take undue advantage. Women's is different. Women's rights, roles, responsibilities are evenly balanced with those of the men. And women is a constant comparison between the two. Now, they have misconceptions and started creeping in with the matriarchal and the tribal system. The diverse rules women fulfill in the society were removed from them. And those Muslims who force them to wear hijab, they are not representative of Islam. And many follow the cultural influences or personal interest. And in so doing, they only disenfranchise women. They are also going against the clear guidelines laid down in Islam regarding the treatment of women. Now let's look at the individual part, education. Back in the time of Muhammad in the 7th century, he declared that the pursuit of knowledge is obligatory for every Muslim, male or female. Possibly, again, the first religious leader to say that education is a fundamental obligation. This declaration was very clear and implemented by Muslims throughout the history at that time. And the most influential scholar of Islam was Muhammad's wife Aisha. After his death, men and women traveled to Mecca to learn from her because she was deemed to be a great scholar of Islam. And then not only that, Al-Qawarian Mosque of the university, the oldest running university, was funded by a woman, Fatima Al-Ferrari, and it was done in the year 859. Then mother has been given the high status. The heavens are under the feet of the mother. For example, the importance is there that not only that heaven lies under the feet of the mother, but he says, a man repeatedly asked a story from Islam. Who among the people is the most worthy of my good companionship? Muhammad replied, your mother. So 3 times he said, answer question, and the reply was, your mother. The 4th time it was your father. So women have a higher status than political and social service. Women, even at that time, were asked to nurse the wounded during the war, and even some participated in the war. They traded openly in the marketplace. Second Caliph, Omar, appointed a woman, Shafa bin Abdullah, as supervisor of the market. Affairs, lawmaking, scholarship, teaching, all were made open both to men and women. Inheritance. Before Islam, women all across the globe were deprived of inheritance. But Islam gave women the right to own property and inherit from their relatives, which was a revolutionary concept. Financial responsibilities. In Islam, women are not obligated to earn, but if they earn, they have a right to work, and they have no obligation to share their money with a husband or any other family member. Khadija, wife of Hazrat Muhammad, was one of the most successful businesswomen of Mecca, and she spent freely from her wealth without any inhibition. Then marriage. Women has the right to say no. She cannot be forced to marry someone against her will. And if this occurs for culturalism, it's in opposition to Islam. Divorce cannot be arbitrary. This triple talaq is nonsense. According to divorce, you have got to say talaq, wait for 1 month, then again say talaq, then again wait for 1 month, then say talaq. 3 times. Not together, but with 1 month at once. Then after that also, there is 3 months time for the divorce to become effective. So 6 months time for thinking. So they have their inheritance rights, and even in talaq, the husband is supposed to pass on the meher. And marriage is, as I said, based on mutual peace, love and comparison. Quran, ayat 21 says that He created for you to find tranquility, affection, mercy. These are the basic qualities. And then dignity and protection from harm women have been given. The leading female Muslim scholar was Zainab Alwani, and she says that Islam clearly disavows any form of oppression or abuse. It cannot be said enough times that anyone exercising unjust authority in the name of Islam is actually doing wrong. All God's creation is dignified and protected under Islamic law. Modesty, of course. Now, women have been falsely classified as oppressed, according to Islam, but they are liberated. Now, veiling, hijab, as I said, but not the burqa. Burqa is not ordained. And as a matter of fact, men have been told to lower their eyes when they see a woman. Now here men ignore that and only indulge in that. Now who are the important figures in Islam? Female figures. Both Shia and Sunnis, the most revered women in Islam, Aisha, wife of Pharaoh, Asiya, sorry, not Asiya. Aisha, wife of Muhammad, Mary, Khadija, Fatima, daughter of Muhammad. So they are the role models. According to Shias, Fatima occupies the highest status as the mother of the Imams. And are you aware, mother of Ali, cousin and son-in-law, she gave birth to Ali in Kaaba, the only person to have been born in Kaaba. Then women have contributed to Islam a lot, apart from Fatima. For example, Krima Marwazia, the greatest commentator of the 11th century of the Bukhari Hadith collection. Al-Wadiya is revered as the great Sunni saint. So women in Islamic societies is basically contradiction. Let's not forget, Islam is a textual religion. That is, daily life is regulated by the laws given in Quran. These laws go as far as to dictate how the man should discuss. Men are told to lower the gaze and guard their modesty. Women are also told to do the same, with the addition of extending the headscarf over the chest. That's it. So a hijab should come from the head and cover the chest, so that the protruding breasts do not detect people. But men are told very clearly to lower their eyes. But they have never been told to be segregated. And women have been told to, and they have been doing it, as I said, business, medical needs, trust, law. But then culture always permeates religion, and then distractions are always found. For example, in Sikhs, the turban that you see nowadays, the tie turban, is not there in Sikhism. That is supposed to be just around the head. But the sort of the peak of Patiala turban, first time they were done was by Sher Singh, and he was punished by Akali Pula Singh. So modern day societies are repressive of women rights in Islamic countries. Yes, I agree. For example, Taliban and Pakistan, women are not given the same right. In Saudi Arabia, till recently, they were not allowed to drive. In Egypt, no health services, which affect women. But that is not Islamic. That is in fact un-Islamic. And Islam has given them much more legal rights than any other religion has done, except Sikhism. In Hinduism, there is no codification. So that was according to the time. But the codification in Bible doesn't give them the right. In Talmud, Israel doesn't give them any right. Now look at the female representation in business, education, and employment, say, for example, in Malaysia and Iran, both Islamic societies. And one, women are highly repressed, oppressed. Other, they are much more capable and having more representation than the male. So, conservatives from literalists of Salafi Sunni theology and a political Muslim brotherhood demand that women should retreat. But that is anti-Islam as a matter of fact. Islam codified all laws, and when we look at them, we never find anything which is repressive or oppressive. And certain women converts have from, say, Christianity to Islam. They have stood out, like Lady Evelyn Cobold, a Scottish noblewoman. She converted in 1933 and performed, and she started a global movement, Musawa, for equality and justice in Muslim society. So, the cultural, The biased interpretation misleads people into thinking that Islam is repressive. The reality is, as I said, Sikhism and Islam, both religions are given maximum equal status. At the maximum level and at the highest order, women have been given respect in both the religions. If Quran says that heaven lies under the feet of the earth, Sikhism says, how can you criticize women who has given birth to the kings? So Kamanda Akijit Raja. So the present oppression is in fact anti-Islamic, or rather un-Islamic, than being Islamic. Thank you. Hi.